It is the Corona post-show here at the Mayo Rip Curl Pro, Portugal. It's happy hour. And it was a happy day today as we see the fans filing off of the beach. Big day one of competition. Stop number 3 on the World Championship Tour, World Surf League, and it was a big day. We had 10 hours of competition today. 20 heats completed. We've seen some people eliminated. There's a couple of shocker eliminations. We're going to wrap that all up in the Corona Post Show. I'm Kaipo along with Peter Mel and Strider Walls-Lewski. I'll start with you, Strider. Your thoughts on today?
You know what? Heavy hitters going into the elimination round was my thought. It was pretty heavy watching all the men do their work, and that's going to be one of the most probably the highest watched elimination round we're going to have tomorrow. I think we're going to have a lot of great waves, and then we're going to see some heavy hitters go at it tomorrow in the elimination round. What do you think about today, Peter?
Overall, I put my expectations pretty high, and it felt like I kind of almost got there. I feel like there's so much more. I want to see some barrels. I want to see some airs, and I just didn't see enough of that today.
Yeah, I mean, it was a grindy day, though, right? And that's what we expect. I mean, the first opening round, it is a non-elimination round, so it's kind of, in a way, it's kind of testing the field.
There's nothing to lose then, right?
Well, it's testing the field, but there is something to lose because you don't want to find your place in the elimination round. We ran the women's elimination round today. We got some surprises for you to catch up on in this post show. If you didn't catch up on it today, we're still yet to see the men's elimination round. And like Strider said, it is a stacked elimination round with a lot of top seeds in there. We'll get to that story. Let's get the story of Isabella Nichols because she escaped the elimination round. She's going to be in the round of 16. She's with Louisa.
Yeah, she did escape it. And I was talking to Kirk throughout this entire heat, and he just told me that you changed boards, the strategy. So how did you approach this heat mentally?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a bit of a hard time the past 3 contests, and my first round heat didn't go quite as I planned, but I think I've really been working on my fitness and trying to gain a bit of extra muscle and weight, and I think now my smaller boards are too small for me now, or my short boards are, so I actually went up to my 5'11" versus my 5'9.5", and it felt a lot better. It felt like I could turn it and throw it around a bit more, and yeah, so I guess that board change worked.
You have a little bit of time to work on yourself right now to, regain confidence and forget about elimination round, which I just mentioned to Sally is the worst nightmare for every surfer. Yeah. So what do you do in this time to regroup and move on?
I've been in every elimination round this year so far, so it's been an emotional roller coaster, honestly. The downs that I feel after getting third in that first round and then having to back it up almost straight away and put your comp head on again. Sometimes to me, when I get angry at a past performance and I get to surf a heat again straight away, it kind of helps with my headspace because I get a bit of redemption and I go out a little bit fired up, which I found works for me more. I don't like doing it. I don't like going into the elimination round, but sometimes it brings out the best in me, and unfortunately I'm a back against the wall kind of person, so I've been working on trying to change that, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and it's a lot of work, for sure. Yeah. Can you bring some inspiration from the woman you're wearing on your back?
Yes, I'm representing Rihanna Niflin. She's a Red Bull cliff diver. She's the GOAT in Red Bull cliff diving, and I find there's such a correlation between cliff diving and surfing, or any sport for that matter. It's that moment where you're standing there and the whole world's watching you and you've got to perform and make that dive or make that wave, and just watching her journey, she's a fellow Aussie and she's a big inspiration for me, so that's why I chose to represent her.
There you go. Big tap on your back. Congratulations. Move on, and we'll see you.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
Yeah, Isabella Nichols, as well as Gabriel Bryant, making it through that elimination round. Lakey Peterson. That would have been an upset, Pete.
Big upset. Yeah, finalist last season, and comes in here, and that was a very bitter pill for Lakey to swallow. So, going to have to move into that Oz leg and perform at a high level. But she's done it in the past. I feel like she can do it again.
Strider, in the first heat of the women's elimination round, we saw another big upset.
Huge. Tyler Wright, she actually had the waves to make it through that heat and came unstuck a couple of times. So, for her, having to bow out in that elimination round, put her head down, and really take a look at it. And now she's going to have to do the same thing. But she's going into familiar territory, right? She's going into the Oz leg, so I think she'll be comfortable. But you know what? Katie Simmers and Sally really put it to her on that one.
Yeah, let's take a look at that women's elimination round. Heat number 1, Sally Fitzgibbons taking the win. Tyler Wright, Peter, unfortunately not able to put it together. She's going to exit with a 17th.
Yeah, a couple falls, and then actually the one opportunity that I saw that she missed out on was the barrel. There was that one down the beach a bit. She was in the barrel, looked like it had an exit out of there, and didn't happen for her. I love this performance from Katie Simmers because it wasn't all easy for her in this heat. She was getting pounded. She was having to paddle out and deal with it, so I'm sure she's exhausted today because emotionally that was a big day for her.
Sally Fitz, a 5.83, then this 5.17, 11-point heat total for the win. Caitlin Simmers Strider came back with a big 6.5, and that turned the heat.
Yeah, it was beautiful surfing. She attacked the lip, you know. During this heat, Pete was like, don't change a thing, and she just kept going after it. But Sally, in the end, just came to the party. She was just really had a great flow and was finding lip line to finish off this thing. Rode this way, you know, these waves all the way to the beach and having a lot of fun out there. And I think that her, you know, tenacity of just holding her line and staying in it and knowing and having faith in herself really pulled her through this thing because it was all the way at the end when she came through.
Yeah, good feeling for Sally Fitzgibbons this afternoon, knowing that she's going into the next round, the round of 16 for women. You know, we'll take a look at these numbers right here, and you can see Tyler Wright really needed a bigger number. But when we really put things into context, first 5 events before the cut, the women and the men get 1 throwaway. So Tyler's got her throwaway, Peter. She's already got a second and a first, so she's already got, you know, adjusted, has 13,885 points. So this is not like doom and gloom for Tyler Wright. She just cannot slip up on anything at Bells as well as Margaret River.
And again, you're just trying to make the cut, so you got to make top 10. And ultimately, I mean, she's pretty much going to go into the Oz leg as one of the favorites. So I don't have a lot of worry for Tyler, especially performance this year. She's been surfing really well today. Didn't happen for her, but shake it off and move on.
Yeah.
You're going to have a bad event.
Yeah. And going into Bells, she's the defending champ over there, coming into stop number 4 on the championship tour. So
Margaret River, another wave that she can do well at. Yeah. So it's, no worries.
Yeah, no worries. But we opened up the day, you guys, with a stacked heat for the men. Ethan Ewing, Strider, Kelly Slater, and the wild card, Carlos Munoz, started off our day.
Yeah, you know, and expectations were high for all of those surfers in that heat. You know, and I really thought we were going to get a little more out of the goat, and you know, unfortunately, he didn't pull through the way we thought. There was a little bit of positioning, and the first wave he was in position for, I guess. He was a little deep, but still could have went and didn't go and gave it to Ethan. Ethan ended up getting that wave and making the difference in this heat.
Yeah, here's Slater on his 4.17. It was a nice start, Pete, but he didn't have a backup.
Yeah, it was right out of the gates, right? And he got this wave. He looked polished. We weren't seeing high numbers. I mean, I hadn't seen any numbers, really, because first heat of the day. So ultimately, we just saw that everything looked good. But after that, we never saw him again. He literally went dormant. Disappeared on us.
Yeah, you got to keep moving in these heats. Those sleepy surfers are going to get exited, and that's what happened. Carlos stayed busy, got some great waves, and Ethan was on his board, you know, throwing rails, and you know he was kind of the favorite in that heat, so to speak. And here he is. You know, he's the way he surfs these waves. He's just got so much power in his surfing. His rails are sharp, beautiful whipping turns, great body language, good torque.
Good numbers, too. A 5.77 to open up. The backup right here, a 5.33 for Ethan Ewing. Oh, how's the release? Beautiful turn. Ewing looking really good. What's not looking good are some of these top seeds right here, Pete, as we look at our men's elimination round. Heat number 3, Jarrell Chianca came in, number 3 on the leaderboard. He's in the elimination round. Look at Gabe Medina. Heat number 4, he's in the elimination round. Kanoa Garashi, Kelly Slater in the elimination round. What's going on?
Well, I was just going to say, some elimination rounds, you don't really want to, you know, you're just like, they're kind of whatever. I'll catch it.
This is going to be
round
fun,
of 32.
dude.
This is like going to be a gnarly one because there's so much on the line. Obviously, Kelly Slater trying to look for an opportunity. He's been in this round before and got through it, no worries. But he's got Kanoa and Federico, which is a very hard heat. And compared to all these 4, I would say that one's gnarly. But look, Gabe Medina, Jarrell Chianca, Blanca, Coyote Belly. All those top seeds are in this elimination round.
Yeah, it is going to be one to catch up on, Strider.
My thoughts are, too, you know, if you're in the elimination round, and it means you've lost your first round, and if you lose that heat and the elimination round, you're just not meant to be here.
Yeah,
so
go home.
It's just pretty simple.
Yeah, get your ticket.
Go home.
Well, the conditions will be changing, and we'll see how that affects the performance and the strength for a lot of our surfers as we go into the elimination round. We'll see if that kicks off tomorrow. And speaking of kicking off tomorrow, let's take, you know, the crystal ball that Surfline provides us, Pete, and look at the Surfline forecast. What are we expecting?
We're running tomorrow. We've got an increase in swell. Seriously, we are. It's going to be very similar type of winds that we saw today. There's going to be a new angle in swell, so we're going to have extra juice in the water. That's always nice.
Maybe a little more offshore in the morning?
It could be a little bit more offshore in the morning. So all of those things are good. We've got plenty of swell on tap for us. We've had the winds go bad for us. Now we're going to start to see it go into a better direction and be lighter. Monday, when we look out a little bit further, Monday might be one day that we're going to, you know, step away from. We'll take a look at it, obviously. But then after that, it looks all right, you know, and there's plenty of surf. Like I said, there's going to be, you know, sand's good. All we need is good winds, and I feel like in the forecast, we've got it.
Offshore, onshore, offshore, offshore. So that's good. So, you know, that's what we wanted to see is those winds clocking around, and we've got that tomorrow. I really feel like we're in for a treat tomorrow. You can just kind of get the buzz out of the feeling on the grass, and it feels really nice and smooth for tomorrow.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I'm anticipating another big day of surfing. You know, we ran over 10 hours today, so we can anticipate that again tomorrow, like the Surfline forecast is telling us. We're looking for an improvement as well.
And we ran through low tide, which is another thing that sometimes doesn't happen here, especially when the banks are kind of flat and straight. Right now, we've got enough curve in it that the low tide, we can handle it. Yeah, it's more challenging, but ultimately we can surf through it.
Let's take a look at today's top 5 moments. As we wind back the clock, we're going to start off with number 5 on our top 5 here at Super Tubos. It was Miguel Pupo finds the tubo.
And we got to love it. I mean, wasn't a lot of barrels on offer today, but this man knows how to find the barrels that are there. Did that so well and just looks so free. He really does surf stress-free. You got to love what Miggy's been able to do, coming off of that Tahiti win, and then now finding the barrel once again. And he's going to do that. And I feel like tomorrow, if we get into those that round of 32 for the men, this guy could be one to watch because he's definitely in tune with Super Tubos.
A lot of flow, a lot of power.
Yeah. Miguel Pupo knows how to find a barrel, and we're expecting barrels for tomorrow. Number 4, first CT Heat. First CT Heat win for Sophie McCullough, Strider.
Yeah, you know what? It's so fun. We've been anticipating her arrival. Finally, she gets to go out, and she takes a win in her first heat. I mean, that just gives you a sense of confidence. She's battling through a little bit of pain. You know, she's had surgery. She's actually said the cold water actually hurts a little bit, but she's pushing through, and she's, got a heat win, which must feel amazing.
Number 3, the Indonesian rookie Rio Waida defeats Jordy Smith and Gabe Medina in the opening round, Pete.
Gotta love it. Airs and barrels are what you need to have in order to score big numbers at Super Tubos, and this kid's got the airs, and he brought it to round number 1, which I love.
7.83, a 7.33 for Waida, 15.16 two-wave total. Dominant performance. Jordy Smith was able to sneak out of this one as well, Strider.
Yeah, he was right there, and he was in the game the whole time. But you know what? Rio, man, the way he was surfing was so fun to watch. Just his intensity that he brought in this heat. It was something, this little tweak air, up, boom, kicks it out, brings it back. I mean, it was so clean, and just riding out of it was such pleasure. I mean, he is on point out here. He's got a trainer, a driver, and this young man, he barely even showed up in this heat. It was very odd for Gabriel Medina.
Yeah, and looking at number 2, our defending champ, Griffin Colapinto, he picked up right where he left off last year, Pete.
He did, and that's exactly what, because he's got the arsenal, right? He knows how to barrel ride. He's used to the beach break, so he can read a lineup really well, but his airs are so powerful. And again, he was one of the surfers that got 10s last year. It was right here at this break, going above the lip. And it's kind of interesting that this score came in as the best number of the heat, and it didn't include an air, but it wasn't quite excellent, because I had mentioned that you watch all the scores from last year, the excellent numbers, it was either this type of surfing or barrels, and that was it. If you had the combos, Although the combos do work when you need a number to get through your first round heat.
Yeah, made Janice Aragon pretty proud with her name on the jersey, and a great performance by Griffin Colapinto. Well, here we go, Strider. Teresa Bonvalat, the local, she wins at home in front of a home crowd in her opening round appearance.
Yeah, great, solid, just, powerful surfing. Timing was on point, connecting with lip line over and over again. She actually, hurt herself the other day when we saw her in the lineup, Pete. She had a little cut on her head, so she was battling through a little bit of pain out there, even with that cold water, but you know what? It didn't affect her performance whatsoever. Absolutely tearing through on the backhand out there. Timing was money for Teresa.
Well, she had the hood on. She ended up pulling that off, and that's all of a sudden when the performance lifted. She pulled the hood out at that moment. She probably was getting hot and did it on the backhand. So good on the backhand.
All right, Pete, final thoughts on today?
I think it was a good day overall. We got a lot done, right? We saw 2 surfers end up packing their bags and heading home. But I'm going to put the bar a little bit higher tomorrow even. So I hope that these surfers can lift to that level because I want to be entertained.
What do you think, Strider?
I think that the level was set by Rio Waida and Griffin Colapinto. I feel like those 2 surfers set the tone for me, not only for the day, but for the year. I feel like to me, Griffin Colapinto could be a world title contender.
Youngsters.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh,
oh,
call
yeah.
out right there.
Yeah. Well, check in tomorrow at 6:50 local time at worldsurfleague.com to see if we'll be running.
Here
and
you
with
go,
that,
Kaipo.
enjoy
You can have a
the
Cornitos.
end of today's highlights.
League for broadcast around the world and may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the written consent of the World Surf League.